Hiya, welcome back to our channel. Thank you so much for watching. First of all, this is going to be, as you can tell from the title, a contour and highlight video, which is pretty simple, but I thought it'll be an easy way to just get back into YouTube again. It is mainly going to be drugstore products that I've used. There are a couple of things that are more high-end, but obviously I'll mention all that as we get into the video. If you do have any questions or anything like that, please comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe as well. And if you do have anything else, any suggestions or anything like that that I can film next time, then please do let me know. Obviously I've got plenty of options at the minute, but I would love to hear back from you. Right, so we're just going to jump straight in. I've just pushed my hair back, I put it in a hair bubble just so that it's out of the way and we can make sure that all of the product is blended properly and there's no lines because we've got our hair down or anything. And the first thing that I'm going to use is this moisturiser here from Loreal. It's like a white little pot and it's called L'Oreal Paris Triple Active Dry and Sensitive Skin, and this is the daytime version. And I'm literally just going to put my finger in, get it on the back of my nail and just get it onto the skin. When you're putting on a lot of product like we're going to be doing, it's so important to obviously put your moisturiser and your primer so that your skin is nice and prepped for all the products that we're going to be putting on. Now that I've got my moisturiser on, I'm going to go in with the foundation. So I'm going to be using this NYX or NYX, whatever you want to call it, foundation, and it's just the stick version. And the colour I use is MSF 08 in the colour Warm Tan. So what I would do is once you put the moisturiser on, obviously your skin will feel a little bit wet. I would wait for that just to soak into the skin before I go into the foundation, because I've done the mistake of going straight in with foundation and it did not work out very well. It just kind of soaked into the moisturiser and there wasn't really any actual payoff from it. So I'm just going to push that into the skin. I always make sure that I get around the nose area, as I find with stick foundations you can almost always miss out areas like that. So once you've got the foundation on your skin, go in with your beauty blender, Real Technique sponge, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to start pushing this into the skin. Don't forget the ears and the neck. So I've got the foundation all over the skin now. I've made sure to blend it all over the ears, all over the neck, and that's all done. What I'm going to go in with next is some concealer, and this is what we're going to use to highlight. My favourite drugstore concealer for highlighting is actually the Maybelline Fit Me. There's been a lot of rave about this over the past couple of years since it came out, really, and a lot of people compare it to the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. So, you know, if you're wanting a cheaper alternative to that, I would definitely try this. So I'm just kind of starting under the eye, doing a bit of a triangle shape, like that. I also put it onto the nose, the sides of the nose, just because that actually can make your nose appear a little bit smaller if that's something that you're wanting to achieve. And the same on the other side, so starting from the bottom of the eye and winging it out up to here, and creating a bit of a triangle shape. And then I'll dip it back in and go up the nose. Like that. Then once again with that same concealer up onto the forehead. And down the nose, just in a line like that. I also like to go under the lip. So that's the highlighting all done. I'm going to get the cream contour now and get that applied as well. For my cream contour, I'm actually going to use a product from Kiko Cosmetics. It is called the Full Coverage Concealer, and it comes in a little pot like this, and it just opens up, and that's the colour I'm going to use. I know it looks very dark, but once it's blended in with everything that's going on, it'll look absolutely great. This is the shade 08. The brush that I'm going to use with this concealer is this Real Techniques contour brush. It came out a couple of years ago and I haven't really used it that much, and I feel like since using this technique for cream contouring, it's been absolutely great. So I'm just dabbing the product onto the brush, and then instead of swiping like I was doing with the concealer, I'm going to dab it in like that. And on your own face, you'll know where the hollows is for your cheekbones, and you don't want to put it in the hollows, you want to put it a little bit higher, just because when you go to blend it, it'll kind of naturally go a little bit lower, so you want to go a little bit higher than that, like so. And then I always like to go around the eyebrow onto up the forehead, kind of connecting this with this up to the forehead like so. And same on the other side, so start from there. Make sure you're pushing it into the hair as well, because you don't want any lines. Like I said earlier, putting the highlight in this part of the forehead and then putting the cream contour on the top of the forehead, it will really help achieve like a chiseled small forehead. Then I'm just going to do the same on the cheekbones on the other side. So just make sure you're pushing your hair back so that you can get right in there. And then connect the forehead with the cream contour on the cheekbones. So I'm just kind of adding, making sure that it's even on both sides. This will make the face appear slimmer, which I need a bit of that. Going with my beauty blender that I used earlier for the foundation. And I'm going to start to just blend the concealer. I'm going to try not to disturb the contour, but if I do, it's not a problem. We can sort that out. So I'm just dabbing that like that. And then once it's dabbed in, now you need to make sure that you just keep on dabbing, just because if you stop and then set later on with the powder, it will go into the fine lines. So just make sure that you keep dabbing. The powder that I'm going to be using to set this is the Loreal Mercier translucent powder, and you just want to look up and pat that in. Once again, no swiping motions, and there we go. And then I'm just going to do the same with the forehead where the concealer is. So just tap that in. Like that. Grab the setting powder. So obviously now we've blended the concealer, we're looking very pale because all of this needs blended in now. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab that concealer again, the contour, and I'm just going to add a bit more. So I'm going to start actually blending it out. So instead of like we were doing just pushing it in, we're actually going to be starting to just like stipple it onto the skin like that. So just wherever you want it to be. And I'm just pushing it in like that. So that's one side nearly done. And then I'm just going to move onto the forehead, making sure once again pushing it into the hairline, and I'm just adding wherever I want more. And then I'm just going to do the same with this, just hold it back so that I can blend it into the hairline. Down to the neck. So the final step that I'm going to do with this cream contour is I'm just going to put it onto the nose. So I've put a little bit on the brush. I'm just going to side of the nose And instead of leaving it there, I'm just going to straight away try and blend it out. Connecting it to the eyebrow is really important, so you start from the bottom and then connect it to the tip of the brow like so, just because if you stop there it will just look so obvious. Tip of the nose as well. Right, so that is the cream contour and the concealer all blended. The concealer we've already set. Now we need to do the same with the cream contour. So we need to make sure that all the liquids that we put onto the skin needs to be set properly. So what I'm going to do to set that is I'm going to take my favourite bronzer. This is the Give Me Sun MAC bronzer. And I'm just going to dip that into the brush, tap it off and start circular motions. Like so. And the same with the forehead. I'm just literally going over wherever that I put the cream on. The main thing I would say with this is to constantly make sure that you're blending it into the hairline so that there's no harsh lines. If you've got quite pale skin and you're stopping kind of just at the top of your forehead, it's not going to look very good when it's not blended in, so just make sure that you're blending it in all the time. And then with the nose, same thing, just straight down, making sure that we're going up to the eyebrow. On the tip of the nose. And then under the lip. That'll create a fuller lip. With the cream contour and highlight done, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to finishing off the skin. So blusher, highlighter, etc. So we've set everything in place now. We're looking really bronzed. We just want to kind of pull everything together. I'm going to use this little blush here by Bourjois and it's in the number 34 Rose. I'm going to use the same brush for this as I used for my contour powder. Just tap that off. Last but not least for the skin, I'm going to do the highlighter. That I'm actually going to use today is by Revolution and it's a great highlighter. I think it's about £3. Cannot go wrong. And then tap some off and just build that up. And I'm just literally building that up so that I've got as much as I want on. On the nose, so I'm just going to go down the middle of the nose. And then I'm just going to blend that out with my finger because I don't want it too much on the nose. Cupid's bow. And above the brow. Just a little bit there. Right, so that's the skin all done. As you can see, we've got the highlighter on, we've got the bronzer, the contour on, the highlight under the eye, we've got the highlight on the forehead, highlight on the nose and everywhere else that it needs to be. I'm just going to quickly go and finish my lips and then I'll be right back to show you the finished look. Right, so I've just put on the rest of my makeup, so I've just touched up my eyes, put some lip stuff on and it just shows you the finished result. So obviously you've got your highlighter, your contour and everything just pulls together really well. And obviously the majority of stuff that I've used is Drugstore. The only thing that was quite expensive was the Give Me Sun bronzer, which is about £20 I think. Everything else is, I'm pretty sure, well under the £10 mark. I would say that it's definitely all worth getting, especially this little Kiko concealer for contouring. You wouldn't think to get this because obviously it's a full coverage concealer, but actually it works really well and it just creates such a gorgeous finish. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Let me know anything that I could film next for you. Obviously I've just bought this camera, so I'm still getting to grips of it. I'm still trying to find like the perfect backdrop that I like, but yeah, I'm still learning, so be nice. But yeah, I hope you like this video and I'll see you in my next one.